All right, so we're gonna set up a Darce choke off the front headlock. So we'll start on our feet, however you get to the front headlock. So the easiest way to do this right now, let's just actually turn this way, is post swipe. So he posts here, my left hand is gonna swipe this off, I snap his head down, and I get to a front headlock. So now the way I wanna do this is I wanna get his hands to the mat. So I'm just gonna take a half step back, and then throw my partner's hands to the mat. Now from here, I can set up the Darce, which is totally fine, but what I really wanna do is go off of his reaction. So when he goes to pop up to his feet, here, and get into a 4 points position, that's when I set up the Darce. Now the reason he would pop up to his feet, because he would catch my elbow on the opposite side, he looked to cut the corner, and then pass my arm by. So understand that he's gonna look to defend and pop up to his feet. I'm gonna cut the corner to the opposite side, use my leg to hook his leg, and then start to break him down for the Darce. So our hands are connected here like this. I'm gonna start to walk towards the same side to have control of his arm. So I can't walk to the same side I have control of his head. Whatever side I control his arm, that's the side I walk to. So I'll take a couple steps out to the side, and as I step out to the side, I have to throw my head across the center line. So my head goes from the outside of his shoulder on this side. As I walk, I throw my head to the opposite side. At the same time I do that, I'm going to take a hook to the inside of his leg. So this is called a Casoto hook. The hook looks like this. My heel is going to connect to the inside of his heel. I don't want to point my toes in this direction. There's actually options of him grabbing a hold of my legs and rolling through for leg locks. So I hide my toes and I point them out in this direction. So this will be a hook where I can start to pull his leg out and then drop my knee to the mat. So with my hands connected here, I throw my head to the opposite side and I make my hook. And I'm going to drag my heel past my hip to drop his knee to the mat. Okay, I'll just stay up on your knee for a second. So now what happens is if he falls to his side, perfect. Okay, that's what I need. Majority of the time when you get to here, your partner's going to be on their knee and their elbow. So what I do is I use my inside elbow to push on his hip. That'll drop his far hip down as I crunch his chin in towards his chest, and then I drop him to his shoulder. So I lift, pull, and then drop him to his side. So now from here, let's just turn this way. His top leg is trapped in between my legs. His head and arm is going to be trapped in between my arms here. And now when I look to finish the Darce choke, I throw my shoulder deep inside in front of his chest. And that's going to lengthen out my bottom arm. My top arm is going to be a block behind his head. So I drop my shoulder, straighten my arm out. And now from here, I can take my elbow and pull his head in. So once we lock this up, this hand will reach behind my tricep. My head is going to drop down towards his head. At the same time, I walk this hand up to his shoulder. So I can't just bring my hand up here like this. I'm going to have a hard time pulling my hand up. So as I pull my head down, it creates space for my hand to come up. And now what the finish is going to look like is whatever elbow's in front of your partner's chest, I'm going to pull up towards the ceiling as I drag this elbow in towards his chest for the finish. So I'm not just squeezing, I'm rotating and I'm pulling this elbow up to the ceiling. So here, however we get to a front head, swipe, I get his hands to the mat. He gets up on his feet. Now from here, we walk to whatever side we have control of that arm. So I walk to my right, I throw my head over to the opposite side. And now from here, I throw that hook inside so that my heel connects to his heel. And I use this to drag his foot past his hip. So I'm splitting his legs and then dropping him here. So now if he stays posted on his elbow and his knee, it's my inside elbow that's gonna push his hip. My elbow's gonna clamp to bring his chin to his chest, and then knock him to his side. So to lengthen out this arm, this shoulder has to go in front of his chest. So I drop, and I dip. Now my shoulder's in front of his chest. I can use my elbow to pull his head in, walk my hand through, and then walk my head down. So I want his shoulder outside of the Darce. So as I bring my head down, I walk my hand up, pull the elbow, and then finish. So here, we get the hands to the mat. I walk, break him down, drop him to his hip. As soon as I drop him to his hip, I dip my shoulder, connect my hands, pull the shoulder out, walk my hand up, and then finish. So that's going to be a Darce choke from the front head, and then using our leg to trap our partner's leg, which is going to get our finishing rate a lot higher in that Darce choke situation.